Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Today I'm going to show you how I set up my April bullet journal. This month's theme is pastel colored macaroons. First of all, I wanted to put in a small disclaimer. I'm not used to filming my setup, so halfway through painting my cover page, I realized that I was planning on filming this. I decided to let it go and continue filming from my monthly calendar. So let's get started. As you can see, I sketched out my monthly page first. This is so I know where I want to put everything. This is important because I'm mostly going to use Dutch door spreads in this setup, and you don't want to cut through an illustration, which I later on did, but it's not supposed to happen. I started with painting the macaroons in the right colors. To save you from watching me paint for hours, I skipped through some steps, but you will be able to follow along. For this month, I decided to use a pastel pink, a light salmon color, and a darker purple. Now that I'm done coloring the bases of my macaroons, I'm going to add some highlights. As soon as that is dry, I'm adding in a really pretty coral. It really complements the other colors but stands out as well. Here you can see me adding in the boxes from the calendar. The first ones and the last ones aren't April, so that's why I decided to draw the outlines with my Tombow TwinTone in the gray color. I chose my salmon pink Sakura jelly roll to draw the dots in the calendar to later fill in the dates. Now with green, I'm adding in the leaves that are attached to the macaroons and the florals. As soon as that's dried, I'm coloring in the April title of the month. Normally, I don't use a ruler outlining my lettering, but in this font, I thought it was very important that the lines were very crisp and straight. I chose for one of my favorite fonts and decided to color it in to really make it pop. Lastly, I'm adding in some dots to complete the look. And to finish it all off, I'm adding some detail with my colored pencils to the highlights of the macaroons. This to complete the look of this page. Next up, we have our first weekly spread. Due to the quarantine, I decided that I didn't need as much space as I would regularly need. I will skip through the first step of these because I thought that the gray lines were too dark. Starting off again with the base of the macaroons. And then redoing the gray lines. As soon as that's dried, I'm doing the highlights of the macaroons. Next up, we're doing the coral flowers. For me, one of these favorite parts of the setup is the quote that I wrote. It says, "Rise and shine, sweet girl. This is your moment." One tip for making this quote, something that I did not do, is to first write out your outlines, then erase your sketch, and then color it in. If you don't do that, you will erase some of the black pigment, which will make your black less intense. After the paint has dried, I'm setting up the lines for the days. And also numbering them. I did make a mistake at day number 8. I covered it up with some gray paint and waited for it to dry to fix it. Now adding in the green leaves. And lastly, of course, the dots. I wasn't ready yet on the left side. I really wanted to put a small monthly calendar over there. In between the quote and the calendar, I decided to put a box for random notes. I cut out the part where I was deciding for a couple of minutes if I wanted to put April on top of the calendar. Ultimately, I decided to go for it, and I really loved the result. This page is the middle of the weeklies. I set it up in a portrait layout. This because it's the middle weekly of my Dutch door weeklies. This way I could look at both sides of the complete setup. Starting off again with the macaroon bases, adding some highlights, the pink flowers, and lastly the green leaves. As soon as that's dried, I sketched out the dailies and added the days and the dates of the days. The dates I wrote in my Sakura salmon pink jelly roll. In the meantime, the paint has dried so I can add on the details in the macaroons with my colored pencils. And again, to finish it all off, adding some dots. Now on to the last page. I started with painting the macaroon, but decided I wanted to start with the Fineliners. I wrote the outlines of the word gratitude and numbered all the days. Now on the right side, I separated the page in 3 boxes. The first one for goals, the second one for notes, and the last one for all the to-dos that I still had to plan. After adding the weekly on the left side, I went on with painting the macaroons. While letting that dry, I filled in the right side of my weekly to later put in the dates. Adding the highlights in the macaroons. Painting the coral flowers. And almost lastly, adding in the leaves as we go. To completely finish this page, we're adding some dots. Here is the complete overview. I cut out the Dutch door spreads. And I did make one mistake right here. This shows us why it's so important to sketch everything out when it comes to Dutch door spreads. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below. what your April theme is, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!